ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ततामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। In this 13th chapter, 6 questions were raised by Arjuna. Tell me about, to start with, what is Prakriti, what is Purusha? Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajna Evacha. Kshetram and Kshetrajnam, the field and the knower of the field. Also, edat veditum ichchami jnanam gneyam cha Eshava. This I would like to know. Also, what is knowledge and what is to be known? Broadly speaking, these 6 questions can be divided into 3 major categories. Prakriti, Purusha, one category. That is, Prakriti, the matter, Purusha, the soul. Second set is Kshetram, Kshetrajnam, field of experience and the experiencer. The third category is Jnanam Gneyam, knowledge and what is to be known. In general, any child, very curious child, would ask the parents, Daddy, Mummy, where did I come from? Where was I before I was born? What is this world? Who created all this? The curiosity of an innocent child is very genuine. As it observes, and when it does not know what it is, immediately it will start questioning what it could be, what is it, I would like to know. The curiosity of a person who wants to liberate oneself from the thraldom and then bondages of the world must also have the similar kind of questioning mind. Then only clarity comes. When we know things as they are, not as per our assumptions, what they are as is from the available, reliable sources, based upon those facts, we will be able to proceed on making decisions about how to deal with them. When we assume certain things in our own way and then we try to experiment it, and when we are disappointed or we become shocked to know what we have assumed was wrong, we have wasted a lot of time by then. So Arjun's questions were genuine and wanting to know, not out of some intellectual curiosity, but how to deal with them. If I come to know about you through my friend, is one kind of information. When I myself observe you and come to conclusion is another set of information. If they match each other, then it's easy. When they contradict each other, then I have to find out which one can be true. What I have observed is true or what I have been told is true. Most of us take it that what we observe alone is true, which is wrong. Because the ability to observe depends upon the abilities of our equipments. What means we use determines our experience and observation. For example, when the ancients looked at the world, the distantmost star that they could see, they have enumerated and written down. But when the equipment called telescopes were created to see beyond, their understanding of the universe has changed. It applies to all different fields where we come to interact, Our own mind, for example. How much do we know? We know based upon what kind of thoughts are happening in our mind, what kind of feelings, what kind of emotions, likes, dislikes, etc. Our mind being none other than continuous flow of thoughts. Even to understand the flow of thoughts, the nature of them, we need to become an observer detached from it. Very often we don't detach ourselves from our own emotions and thoughts and feelings and opinions and ideas. We get carried away, and based upon the experience that we have, if we want to determine what is the nature of the mind, we will be wrong because we have not observed it detachedly. We have become part of the mind, an experiencer of that mind, and based upon that, I come to judge, which is not correct. Bhagavan Krishna here, as a guru of or teacher of Arjun, giving him overall perception of everything that he has asked. What is Prakriti? What is Purusha? What is Kshetram? What is Kshetrajna? What is Jnanam? What is Jnayam? In that context, he said, first of all, idam shariram kshetram. This body is the field of your experience. Because everything that you experience is through this field only. Eye is a field for visions. Ear is a field for sound. Nose is a field for smell. Tongue is a field for taste. Skin is a field for touch. Mind is a field for emotions. Intellect is a field for opinions, judgments, decisions, knowledge. Idam shariram kshetram. But if this kshetram, this physical body, mind, etc., are the field, who is the one who is observing through that field? Like a telescope is there as an equipment, but the one who is using the telescope alone knows what it is, what he is seeing. So who is the observer here? Kshetrajna, Kshetrajnam. And that Kshetrajna, the one who is the observer through the field, is Krishna. Kshetrajnam chavi mam vidhi sarvakshetrishu. Now, I do not feel that the observer here is Krishna, Bhagavan. I consider the observer here is contaminated by the observations. I have my own strong likes and dislikes, prejudices, etc. So even while I am observing, I am being overpowered or confused or contaminated, influenced by past observations, judgments. So to clearly see that the observation and the observer are two different things, where observer is to remain uncontaminated by the observation, then he is Krishna. Otherwise he is Jiva. So at the present moment, I am not able to recognize myself as Krishna, Bhagavan. It is not his mistake. He is always there. Sarvakshetreshu. But why am I not recognizing, realizing myself as Bhagavan? Is because the observer, unfortunately, has become influenced by, contaminated by the observation. I am not able to objectively look at things. I become influenced subjectively. I mean, this is important why I am going to further discussion. How to not get contaminated by the observation, so that you will recognize the true, pure observer, which is Bhagavan himself. Now, what is observed is what is called Nyayam. In this context, what is known, and then we'll go to what is knowable. So, Bhagavan here says, what is the kshetra, the field? I will explain to you. And this, about the field and about the knower of the field, the observer and the observed, are spoken in various ways in our scriptures. Rishibir Bhaguta Gitam Chandobir Vidais Pradak Brahmasutra Padescheva Hedumadbir Vinishchitaihi. Now, in this context, he also said, this world of matter, which is observed. In the 6th verse, we saw, Mahabhutani ahankaraha buddhiravyaktamevacha indriyani dashaikemcha panchacha indriya gocharaha. What is this absurd field called matter? Mahabhutani. 5 great elements: space, air, fire, water and earth. Ahankara, ego. Buddhihi, intellect. Avyaktam, unmanifest law of nature. Indriyani dasha ekam, 11 indriyas, including the mind, 5 organs of perception, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, 5 organs of action, speech, hands, legs, anus and reproductive organ, 11. And 5 objects of experiences. The field of vision, the field of sound, the field of taste, the field of smell, the field of touch. So these constitute the world called field in general. This is about the field outside. Meaning, with the body, physical body, I can experience space, I can experience fire, water, air, etc. And all with the sense organs, I can also experience all that is presented to me as the matter world. But that alone is not the field. Your thoughts are also field. Your emotions are field. And most of us, we are so busy with this field of experience, our likes and dislikes, our joys and sorrows, our success and failures, our gain and loss, and love and hatred, jealousy and pride, and it is innumerable. So many. So few of them only, he says, earlier also he says, I will give you in brief, you can understand further of it, but I will give you in brief. In the verse number 7, he continues here. We'll see here, verse number 7. Ichcha dvesha sukham dukkam sangadascetana dritihi etat kshetram samasena savikaramudahritam. Ichcha dvesha sukham dukkam sangadascetana dritihi etat kshetram samasena savikaramudahritam. Udahritam is described savikarena. Savikaram with their modification, samasena in general, briefly, sankshipta with in brief. What? Kshetram samasena savikaram udahritam. Etat. This field I have explained to you in brief with its modification. Major poor part of our life is experiences that we have based on our strong likes and strong dislikes. If you take up for example, today, why you woke up early morning? Because certain things you want to do, and therefore you woke up. And so things that I would like to do or like to experience becomes my agenda of the day. But it is true that always it is not possible that the day that we would like to have is not the way it would become. Sometimes, things would not happen the way we want. And especially, we also have in our mind certain things better not happen today. Which I don't like it. I don't want a particular person to come and knock at my door. Or I don't want the power to go off. Certain things which would not like to happen. But these are called dvesha. So, ichcha means desirable things. Dvesha means painful things, which in turn are capable of giving us sukham and dukkham. That's why Bhagavan very broadly classified them. Based upon likes and dislikes are our experiences of joys and sorrows. Is it not that when we have a joy, when we have everything happening according to our liking, then there is sukham. When the things are not happening according to our liking, it is dukkam. So, Icha decides the sukham, Dvesha decides the dukkam. In general. Even among the people, certain people we like, and in their company we are happy. Certain people we don't like to have them in our life. In their company we are miserable. Certain events we would like to experience. Certain places we would like to go because that causes are able to bring us some joyful mood. And certain places I don't want to. Certain things I don't want to think about also. Because with the moment I think about that or think about that person, miserable I become. So, Icha, Dvesha, deciding Sukham and Dukkam in general. Now, where do we experience all this? In the aggregate of everything called the physical body, mind, senses, intellect, this is called Sanghata. Sanghata means the entire the aggregate. In Vedanta, we understand the world as none other than a combination of 5 elements and having 3 important characteristics, so to say. Sattvika, Rajasika and Tamasika. And therefore, the experiences that we will have with the body also is determined by what character is predominant at that point of time. I like sweets, let us say. Most of people like sweet. And why? Because when by eating sweet, I feel I'm happy. I become happy when there is an happy occasion associated always with the sweet. So when I experience the sweet, in general, my assumption is I'll be happy after eating that sweet. But while I am about to eat that sweet, I come to have information through my phone that one of my friends is met with an accident. Moment I hear that information, the sweet that is otherwise usually would give me joy is going to fail. So that the mood of that time has changed. So these moods are also the characteristics of the mind. The moods, the characteristics of the physical world is also 3, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Characteristics of the mind also is of the 3 moods, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So when we have the mixture of these 3 and plus 3, and the one more thing is I have certain impressions, deep impressions. They are also of the nature of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So 3 plus 3 plus 3. Combinations. Think about it. 3 into 3 into 3. And, mathematically you can have different kind of permutation combinations of it. So that is why there is variety. That is why he says vikaram. Savikaram. The variety is because of the combinations, various combinations are possible. The matter which has 3 qualities, my moods which have 3 qualities, my impressions having 3 qualities, when they are all coming into play, that is called our experience. Therefore, this is called Sanghata. This is called the aggregate of the all three layers. That is Stula, Sukshma and Karana Sharira. Gross, subtle and causal body levels, there are various combinations possible. And what is that which is able to make experience possible is called the reflection of consciousness. And this reflection of consciousness is called Chetana. Chetana, the brilliance, the intelligence, which makes us able to recall experiences, which make us able to plan, think, observe, understand. And this reflection of consciousness is none other than Bhagavan's presence in this entire thing, reflecting himself in all of this. It is like the sunlight reflecting on a pool of water is as brilliant as the sun if the water is clean. If that water is contaminated, the reflection also is contaminated. In the same way, presence of the Lord in us, contaminated by these qualities, is the presently the Jiva, me, which is also, because of the association with this matter, becomes vulnerable, bound, agitated, confused. That is called the state of Chetana now, presently. My intelligence and brilliance is obscured by association with the matter. But what makes a human being able to proceed on with his life in spite of all the experiences is called fortitude, dhriti. Without this fortitude, you will not be able to get up in the morning. I'm telling you. Because yesterday's experiences would probably may be wrong or unhappy, but today you have a hope, a wish that, no, that was yesterday, today it will be better. That ability to get up and move on, what is that? Fortitude, firmness, determination. That is also part of the field. Ichcha, dvesha, sukham, dukkam, sangadas, chetana, dhriti. These are only very few of them, he explained. Edat kshetram samasena, savikaram udahridam. Explained to you with its modification. Now, you can take it up from here and proceed on. In general, whatever is observed is kshetram. The one who is observing is kshetrajna. And presently, at this moment, the observer is not maintaining its objective perception of the world, cannot remain as a pure sakshi or a witness. Such a observer is presently identifying with the observed, is contaminated individual, and that contaminated or influenced, overpowered individual is called Jiva, and the uncontaminated one is Ishvara. Understand, they are not two. There are not two entities in me. One alone in its state of contamination is referred as Jiva, and the one who is now free of that is called Ishvara, the Lord. Now you understand that. Alright, now Bhagavan says, what makes you able to move from your Jivatva to Ishvaratva is called Jnanam. He asked that question, Jnanam, right? Yes. Now I am going to tell you about that. I told you about what is Kshetram. I explained to you about who is Kshetrajna. Now what is knowledge? The process of purification See, if the gold is, original gold is filled with dirt. But when a goldsmith takes a raw gold, it is not the way you can look at it, which is pure, clean, bright, brilliant. That was not the original condition. Original condition is you can't even know that it is gold. It has to be made through or made to go through certain processes. Let us say this Krishna is made of black marble, let us say, which it is not, but let us say it's black marble. This form of Krishna is not originally, what it was not like this. It was an uneven black stone. How did it become of this form, come to this form? It has gone through the process of being chiseled by a sculptor. This has been very skillfully sculpted. Meaning what? Unwanted things are removed. Wanted things are retained. A raw stone taken up by the sculptor. Now he looked at that stone as a potentially a Krishna in his mind. And in his mind he had picturized what is there in that particular stone. A beautiful form of Krishna I can make out of this stone, but for which I need to remove what is not needed. And the Krishna who is hidden will come out. And as he is chiseling away, the stone may go through the pain of being beaten up, cut into pieces, but when it bears it, when it tolerates it, slowly, from that uneven, shapeless rock, black rock, a beautiful smiling form of Krishna will emerge. In the same way, from the contaminated state of our jivatva, individual self, when we would like to discover the Ishwaratva in us, there is a need to go through the process of removing unwanted things. And Bhagavan Krishna, in this chapter, brings in 20 different things that we need to take care. Swamiji, 20 of them? I don't have a time. I don't have time for all this, Swamiji. True. But you see, this chiseling away is not a particular activity that you need to do. See, every day when you have to spend time in brushing your teeth, washing your body, or taking a shower, or shaving your beard off, and then eating breakfast, and then putting on the clothes, and then going to work. Nowadays, of course, it's different. But anyway, so getting into your car and then driving in through the traffic, in the terrible traffic, and getting into the office, and making sure that you complete your projects and discuss with people, take up new projects, plan about it, and then execute it. Make sure that people are working towards that, and you also put your efforts into that, make decisions, and then come back home. So many things in a day, in a regular day, you may have to do. All these are as kriyas, activities. And you think that, Swamiji, these 20 things which Krishna is going to add to my life is going to make my life more tough, because I don't have time for all these things. I think after retirement I can do it, where I have nothing else to do. My dear, it is not this way. Because what Bhagavan is going to give us as 20 different things here are not activities, but attitudes. They are not things to do. They are the ways to think. Please note this very carefully. They are not things to do. They are not activities to be completed or accomplished. They are attitudinal changes which does not require any physical exertion. Thank God. It is not japa? No. It is not puja? No. It is not pilgrimage? No. It is not some things that I need to physically do or any one of us physically need to do. Like for example, when somebody says, have compassion, is it an activity or an attitude? When I take pity on someone, feel empathetic about something, it is not an activity, may follow that. That is true. If I am compassionate about somebody, I may probably act in a way to express that compassion. In other words, action will continue, but your attitude in that action will change. Earlier, I might have indifferently looked at that person. Now, I will take it with I will look at that person or interact with the person with greater interest to solve his or her problem, if I can. Similarly, when I am doing a work, I can half-heartedly do it without taking interest or mindlessly, or I can do it with interest. I can do it with sincerity. I can understand the purpose for which I am doing and focus on that. Is it an action? No. Action is the same. Attitude. And I don't need to exert for it. This is one thing. Second thing is, the 20 values which Bhagavan Krishna is going to talk about, they are called values because these are the things you expect from the world towards you, for yourself. Let us say you are traveling and you are at the ticket counter, and where you are checking in, then you are standing in the line, and slowly when your turn came, you went there and put your passport and your tickets, and then to get the boarding pass. And the person who is on the other side, he was, no. Yeah, what do you want? Oh, okay. You don't like it. What do you want now? Oh, you want the boarding pass, right? Okay, I'll give you. Why do you shout at me? Just wait, no? Why are you? Wait. No, you feel very frustrated. What is it? He's supposed to be a person who is smiling, welcoming, greeting, is it not? Why do you expect even from a stranger such a kind of a behavior? If you can expect that it from your wife or a husband or a child, your son or a daughter or a brother or a friend is understanding. You even from a stranger, you are expecting courtesy, respect, recognition, welcoming kind of attitude, isn't it? Why? Because you value it. What you value is what will make you comfortable. Nobody likes to be treated disrespectfully. Nobody. When I come to recognize that I need to be treated respectfully, honorably, welcomingly, smilingly, because I value it. If somebody does that, it is right for me. That's what I expect them to behave as. When you expect somebody and everybody to behave like that to you, where should it start, my dear? It should start from you. That's what Gurudev used to say. You smile, the world smile at you. If you scorn, world will shout at you. Why do you expect the people around you to be happy or loving and respectful to you while you are not? When you want people to be compassionate, loving, and forgiving to you, why don't you start yourself? That's why Gandhi said, be the change you would like to see. You want to see a change in the atmosphere or a person, start from you. Are you that? So when you value something as important to you, when you start doing that first, it becomes virtue. So Bhagavan here is going to give us 20 values which should become virtues. Why it is necessary? As we have seen, these are the ways of shaping ourselves in the process of removing what is unwanted from us. The contamination would go away, the impurities will go away by this process, and then in the absence of all that impurities, He can be discovered in us. And this process is referred by Krishna as knowledge. Many people think that knowledge is what we get it from the books, what we get from the teachers or the gurus. There is no shortcut to perfection. Well, I went to this guru every day and then he blessed me and I became knowledgeable. No, it doesn't happen. Unless you own his knowledge. He is ready to give that knowledge, but you never take it. You do all other things. By going to a basketball game and watching a game, you will not become a champion. Would you? Then everybody in that audience will become champions. The one who is playing alone is a champion. Others cannot be a champion because they are only witnessing, they are only looking at it. They never got into the field of action. By going to Guru, you would not ever improve unless you emulate the qualities. More than what is given in the book, more than what you hear through the years, you to start absorbing it, making it yours. And what will make you able to gain that knowledge easily are these adjustments, psychological adjustments that we need to do. And in the process, we remove the impurities of our mind. And in the process of removal of that impurities, we come to discover the pure consciousness, Bhagavan's presence. That's why it is called knowledge. Now he is going to enumerate here what are those in this verse number 8 onward. We'll see here. Amanitvamadambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atmavinigrahah amanitvamadambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam vinigrahah. These are all the very famous verses from chapter 13 or in Gita in general. Very many places Bhagavan Krishna had indicated this kind of psychological adjustment that we need to do if we are interested to discover the Lord within us. If you say that I am not interested in discovery of God in me or want to be free, then you don't need to follow any one of this. In this very verse, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, stairyam, atmavinir. Out of 20, 9 are covered in this one verse. Bhagavan is so ready to give maximum in one shot. There's no second shot. In the first shot itself, most of your problem is over. It is not the first shot will become effective only after second shot. That is not true. First thing he says is amanitvam. Humility. Manitva means a notion about yourself that you are better than anybody else. So when you have a notion that I am better than anybody else, what will be how you look at things? Manitvam is where you think, you are far better than anybody else in this world. Let us say. Then you will never learn anything. Because some people are there, when you say something, I know. And then this, I know. Anything you say, I know. Then such person who says that I know, he has closed the door. I don't want to know anything more. The first and foremost requirement for gaining knowledge is knowing that you don't know and ready to know. And that readiness to know happens only when you become humble. Amanitvam. There is a need for us to, no doubt, be clear about what we know. And we are confident about what we know. Let us say I have a particular skill or a particular training I have undertaken, and I am confident about that particular skill. Nothing wrong in that. That gives self-confidence. I know this. But that does not mean that is the end of everything. I can know more. I can learn much more than this. To learn more than what you have already learned, you must be humble enough ready enough to receive it. There is nobody in this world who knows everything. There is always a room for improvement. When I decide that this is it and I do not want any more, meaning I know everything, I do not want anything more, then you stop growing. And stop growing means old age, not physically. Old age immediately settles down in your head, in yourself, the moment you stop growing in your mind. That's why the people you see, physically they may be young. When people have this attitude of, I don't want to listen to anybody, I know everything, such people will start digging their own grave. They do not have a smiling face. Because always there is a attitude of an air about them. What do you know? I know better. See, such people can never be easy to deal with. They are most complex people. Whereas a person of humility is welcome everywhere. Is it not true? Humility does not mean, I am good for nothing, please, I am helpless, I am useless. That is not humility. Inferiority complex should not be considered as humility. I am good for nothing, I am a failure, I am a dejected, useless soul. That is not humility. That is inability. I know, but I can know more. I understand, I would like to understand better. I am ready to listen and learn. Even those things which I think I have learned, I can polish it, I can refine it, I can make it better. That is what is called the nature of humility. Vinayam, it's called Vidya dadadi Vinayam. Knowledge provides you that humility which will make you understand that you have more to understand, you have more to know. That's the first thing Bhagavan Krishna says here is have that eagerness to grow, seek to learn and improve by changing your attitude, that even if you have a self-confidence about what you know, keep it open for you to learn more. I read somewhere a parachute diving training was being undertaken. The coach came for the first session, para training or whatever it is called, para training. First lesson, my dear students, first lesson, never jump to conclusions. Never jump to hasty conclusions. Because when you jump without the parachute behind you, supporting you, you will never be able to reach the earth in one piece. So just like when you jump out of that flying aircraft, you have to wait for the parachute to open up. When it opens up, you glide and reach down. In the same way, when the mind is open, you learn more. When the mind is closed, you bury in yourself. Learning is possible only when the mind has an attitude of humility. Humility is not a weakness. Humility is an expression of wisdom. I can learn more. I can improve. I want to. Second one he says is adambitvam. Damba is exhibitionism, pretentiousness. What I am is one thing. What I want to project myself as is yet another. That's a false face of us to the world. And this false face or false appearance that we give to the world is called pretentiousness. And pretension, the very word, if you divide into two, pretension. What is pretension? Meaning, if anybody finds out that what you are projecting yourself is not you, then there is a total collapse there. So while you are projecting yourself as different from what you are, there is always a tension. Pretension. See, in the movies or in stage dramas, etc., a person disguises himself as something else for the sake of the particular role that he or she is playing, no doubt. And then, according to the role that he or she plays, so will be the external attire, the makeup, and then dress, and then all other costumes, etc. It is, while you are thus doing, it is for entertainment, for a story. But actually you know who you are. And once the drama or the particular program is over, you remove that Vesha or the external things. But if the whole life you are pretending as somebody other than yourself, in the process you will even forget that who really you are. You become the false identity. And you start imagining that you are that. Is it not true that we all have lost our real self and we are pretending it to be something else? And very often we pretend differently for different kind of people. Putting a makeup constantly, false. When you have decided to let go of your pretentiousness and come to your real being, I'm telling you, your all tensions will go away. Who really you are, when you stay by that, all sorrows and all grief and all misgivings, all mental hang-ups, everything will get dissolved right there. But we are not ready to give up. Because that is what the world wants us to be. We gain our respect and recognition, etc., because of our pretentious behavior. And we don't want to let go of that. I want people to respect me, honor me, recognize me. And when I come there, everybody should know that who I am. See, these kind of expectations I have created to myself, and then I live in that imaginary world. A bubble I created to myself. In that very little bubble which I have created, I live in that comfort zone. And when anybody enters into that to burst that open, I don't like it. I fight to protect my false identity. So here Bhagavan Krishna says, return to simplicity. Don't be pretentious. Give up your false notions. It is in our pledge also it is there. Fight against all false notions and negative tendencies and false notions. This false notion is false by nature. It is false. False means what? That which is false. When do you actually tell a lie to somebody? Twist the truth. When you have to gain something out of it. And there is, whenever you say something which is not true, you have dichotomized yourself. You have divided yourself into two. The one who knows the truth and the one who is speaking the untruth. Two. And when there are two, there is always conflict. So never create an inner conflict in yourself by pretending yourself to be something else other than who you are. There are many layers to it. At the outermost level, it is about the world and me. How the world should look at me. And I have to behave and act and project myself as that is one level. The second level, which is subtler level, is my ambition, my thought, my goals, my needs must be in comparison with all others around me. My status, my car, my phone, my house, everything should be in comparison with all others around me. And I am constantly trying to protect that part of it. In the process, we have no time to look at who we are really. The third layer is where I and my notion about myself as this body. I and my notion about myself as my thoughts and my past experiences, my relationships, my likes, dislikes, etc. where I have forgotten my real self. I'm constantly living in the pretension. Come out of that. That is impurity. That will contaminate you. So, unpretentiousness. Amanitvam adambitvam. Is it something to do, Swamiji? What should I do? You don't need to do anything. Understand. Humility is not a particular act that you do. Unpretentiousness is not a particular activity that you need to do. Similarly, ahimsa. Na parapedanam. Do not injure others. Do not be violent towards others in words, in action, even in your mind. That requires a lot of fine-tuning. That's why Mahatma Gandhi, my experiment with truth, he says, ahimsa, when I started to understand the impact of ahimsa towards realizing myself, to free myself, I found that it is so hard. Let us not make it very superficial. Like people say that I don't want to eat certain things because that will be himsa to the plant. Let us start from the subtlemost here. Even in the thought, you should have the feeling of non-violence. That is important. Then it will express itself externally. I am vegan. I am vegan. I don't eat anything meat. I don't eat even milk products. I don't eat any egg, etc. But I am a most angry person. I hurt others by my words are so hurtful. Nobody will stand next to me. What vegan has created to you, my dear? By being vegan, you are becoming more angry and upset because your energy level is so low. I'm not saying that you should not be this. What I'm saying is, by merely saying that, oh, I don't want to hurt animals, I don't want to hurt the plants, I don't want to hurt this, but you are hurting people. You are hurting by words and your actions. What about that? No, we should not hurt the dogs and cats. What about horses? What about the pigs? And what about the calves? And what about other living beings? They are not animals? Only dogs and cats and horses are animals? Others are not? This stupid kind of an understanding about injury, violence is to be overcome. We should understand at the subtlemost level. When your mind is able to recognize that even thoughts can hurt others, it will definitely express externally in the most beautiful way. Instead, we go the other way around. I don't want to hurt dogs and cats, but I speak words which are most hurtful to others, or act in such a way it will injure others' emotions. Then, that is not ahimsa. That is why I said, it is so important for us to know what this non-violence really means. It is more of a change in your perception and attitude than an external behavior of not eating that and eating instead of that. That is not ahimsa. That has come out of such kind of false notions. Go deeper. We'll see more of it. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.